The empire had been razed, rebuilt, and bloodied again. Yet, from its ashes, one boy stood at the heart of the storm. Vivaan, now 15, walked the corridors of power like a silent prince, groomed by a king and haunted by a queen. One parent taught him order, the other, fire. And deep within, he began to ask, what kind of empire would he build? One born of fear, or one founded on truth? Aryan watched his son from the boardroom's glass wall. Vivaan, tall and thoughtful, was reviewing balance sheets faster than his assistants, but Aryan sensed something was shifting. He noticed the pause when Vivaan looked at his mother's name in a report. The long silences after board meetings. The unanswered questions brewing behind his calm eyes. At night, Aryan would pass by Vivaan's room and hear typing, research. Quiet phone calls. Curiosity growing into something sharper. He feared one thing above all. Not that Vivaan would become like Sia, but that he'd try to reconcile both bloodlines. One evening, a letter arrived at Aryan's mansion, hand-delivered and unmarked. It was addressed to Vivaan. Inside was a photograph of a young Sia holding a toddler, him. Scribbled on the back, in Sia's handwriting, were 5 words. Truth is not what they say. Aryan intercepted the letter. He debated burning it, but he placed it on Vivaan's desk instead, silently acknowledging that he could no longer control the narrative. When Vivaan found it, he didn't confront Aryan. He simply walked past his father the next morning and said, "I want to see her again, this time alone." Sia was allowed a private meeting. No guards, no cameras, just mother and son. She sat tall. Her eyes were clear. The medications were long gone. The fog in her mind had lifted. Vivaan didn't speak at first. He just stared. "Why?" he finally asked. "Why did you risk it all?" Sia's eyes shimmered. "Because I was never meant to be just a face on a man's empire. I built that company. I built every sleepless night into those walls. But your father, he never believed I deserved it without him." Vivaan's brows narrowed. "He says he protected me from you. And I protected you from him, Vivaan. We both fought over you." "Because you're the future neither of us could control." Later that week, Riva contacted Vivaan under a new alias. A private encrypted line. She offered him access to Novaris 2, a clean, public-facing AI firm in Singapore that needed a youthful co-founder. "A fresh leader. You don't need to fight your father," she typed. "Just build your own legacy. One not poisoned by betrayal. One that's yours." Vivaan didn't respond, but the next day he skipped Aryan's board meeting. Aryan found Vivaan in the estate's greenhouse, the same one he built after Sia's breakdown. He walked in slowly. She's clever. And Riva? She's surgical. They're not just offering you freedom, they're offering you Vivaan stared at the orchids. "What if I don't want to be either of you?" Aryan exhaled. "Then write your own book. But know this, I didn't fight them to build you into me. I fought so you could choose." At a charity gala 3 weeks later, Vivaan arrived wearing a pin. The logo of Novaris. Aryan's eyes caught it immediately. Riva stood across the ballroom, raising a glass from the shadows, but Vivaan wasn't there to betray his father. He stepped onto the stage, tapped the mic, and addressed the elite crowd. "Today, I announce my own venture. Third Path Technologies. Not my father's, not my mother's, mine. An AI venture funded by both sides of my past, but governed by my rules." Aryan stood. So did Sia, watching from a live stream in the ward. In the weeks that followed, Third Path became a media storm. Vivaan refused family money. He hired ex-convicts and orphaned prodigies. His board included psychologists, ethicists, and technologists. When asked by a journalist, "Which parent's empire are you reviving?" he answered, "Neither. I'm burning the old maps and drawing new ones." Aryan, watching the interview, smiled faintly. Sia, watching from her room, whispered, "That's my boy." Riva, reading it from prison, said, "Checkmate!" Or maybe, a new game. One rainy evening, Vivaan stood in the same boardroom where his parents once sat. He looked out at the city below. He thought about the wars fought for him, the lies told in his name, the blood spilled in Legacy's pursuit. He placed a plaque on the table. It read, "Vivaan Aryan, founder of the future," and beneath it, in smaller letters, "Legacy is not inherited, it's rewritten." End of trilogy. Shadow Empire.